Mamba out.
Drippin', saucy, yeah, bitch, I do this often. My bitch is bad, she always in office. Don't got the tags, I'm running my body. Can't see the pads, I'm living too fast. With 20, my dash, I'm up, but I lost him. He wanna brag, I emptied his bag and took what he had. Don't care what it cost him. Then he broke, he turned to a hoe. I seen him before, the shit is exhausting. Ran on a hoe, I wanna be known. The stage of my soul, you Randy Moss. Already been broke.
What's up, nowadays? And today we are discussing the Phoenix Suns and their playoff predicament. Of course, they have CP3, they have Devin Booker, they have a struggling but ascending DeAndre Ayton, who was taken above nobody in particular. Who's taken above nobody in particular. And the rest of that Charlotte Hornets squad. They are I believe at the time of recording, they are the top seed in the West.
Yes, best record in the NBA.
Best record in the NBA. Okay. Bonafide, some people a top 3 MVP candidate, CP3, and another top start. In fact, my number 2 player on my under 25 team, Devin Booker, who doesn't have a nickname. Oh, yes, he does. D-Book. Darius, I'm hand the floor over to you.
Aiden, let me just address this first and foremost. The reason why the Phoenix Suns are this successful is because of one thing and one thing only. The only reason why they have the best record in the NBA, the best record in the West Conference, is because of one thing and one thing only. It's called the CP3 effect. You know, Chris Paul, CP3. Now you can look at the records of the Phoenix Suns in the past couple of years. Going to read them off right now. 2016, 24-58. 2017, 21-61. 2018, 19-63. And 2019-2020 season, they're 34-39. At the time of the recording, they're 47-18. Look at the way CP3 has transitioned teams throughout his career. All right. Before he went to the Clippers, their record was 32-50.
They also had a Blake Griffin coming off injury and ascending, and then they were going to have the creation of Lob City, but I will let you continue.
Right. But with CP3, they were 40-26. When he went to Houston, even with James Harden, the season before he went there, they were 55-27. With Paul, they were 65-17. When he went to OKC, who overcame all odds of making the playoffs, when they were projected to be literally the worst team in the NBA. The season before that, with Westbrook, with Paul George, they were 49-33. With CP3 and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they were 44-28. Now with the Suns, I just mentioned this earlier. Last season they were 34-30. They were 34-39, went 8-0 in the bubble during the regular season. Right now, Aiden, they're 47-18 with the best record in the darn NBA. So I gotta discourage CP3. Not saying that not saying that Devin Booker hasn't done anything this season. Devin Booker has been lights out all season long. I'm looking at this Phoenix Suns team. I have to give a lot of credit to the head coach, Monty Williams, as well. Look at him ending in the regular season last year. All right, the Phoenix Suns had a good chance of making the playoffs last season. Had a great chance because honestly, let's be real. Going into the bubble, there were just 3 teams that me and you thought were going to actually solidify that 8 seed in the Western Conference. We all know it was Portland, Dan Lillard, CJ McCollum, right? There was Memphis, John Morant, up and coming team, and there was Phoenix. There were other teams in the mix. Zion and the Pelicans, they weren't clicking. San Antonio, they just didn't have the roster. They didn't have as much talent as those 3 teams. Phoenix was right there. And I knew Phoenix needed one more piece. They needed one more piece. And that was CP3. Right at the point. And I'm looking at CP3 here. He's averaging like close to 9 assists. And look at Devin Booker. He's balling lights out. I believe he's averaging close to 26 points per game. But CP3, they are second in the league in assists. They're also 9th in scoring. Even though they're 22nd in rebounds, they are the 3rd best defense team in the league. They're only allowing 107 points per game. So I got to give a lot of credit to Monty Williams and the Suns. I'm looking at the roster for the Suns. It's a pretty solid roster. I'm looking at CP3, D-Book, DeAndre Ayton, who has, I believe, taken a little ascending level these past couple of games. I'm looking. You add Jay Crowder, the rest of this roster. If I'm gonna read it off here, just players that are really, really uh, like Mikael Bridges, I like Torrey Craig, I like Langston Galloway. All right. Frank Kaminsky, he's been really good for this team. Darius Sarge, they drafted Jalen, I believe Jalen Smith with the 10th overall pick. All right, I believe. They have Darius Sarge, Cameron Payne. It's not the roster that goes like wow, but this roster is the best team by record in the NBA. So I have to get a lot of respect to them. Now, going into the question, are the Phoenix as contenders or pretenders? I'm looking at them. I do think they're a second round bounce. I do think they're a second round bounce. I'm looking at the competition in the West. All right. I'm looking at how many stacked teams they have. Even though LeBron James is not 100%, he's still LeBron James. I'm looking at the Lakers. I'm looking at the position they're in. Uh, right now they're at the 6th seed. If the playoffs are today, they would be facing the Clippers. That would be literally the best series I've ever seen. But the Phoenix Suns will have an easy matchup if they do remain the number one seed, because looking at how the playing tournament goes, they will be facing either, I believe, Portland, Golden State, uh, Golden State, Memphis, or San Antonio. I think Phoenix is most definitely a better team than any of those four. I think that's an easy, easy dub for them in that first round, depending on how the playing tournament goes. Now, I think the only threat to them out of those four teams is probably the Portland Trailblazers. With all due respect to Steph Curry and the Warriors, his records going on, phenomenal month of April. But Golden State and roster besides Steph, they just haven't performed up to par. And looking at the Portland Trailblazers, the only brought that to the Suns, and I do think the Suns are going to win that series. All right. Now, in the second round, you're going to be going up against teams on the upper echelon than those other four teams, like teams like Dallas, teams like the Clippers or the Lakers, or even the Nuggets, who are 9-1, I believe, without Jamal Murray at the time of recording. So props to them. I do think, especially with the playoff experience those teams have, I don't think the Phoenix Suns could match up to them, because this is literally the first time Devin Booker has been in the damn playoffs. The Phoenix Suns have missed the playoffs. They have had a losing record ever since Devin Booker was a rookie. So this is the first time in the playoffs. This is Monty Williams' first time in the playoffs as a head coach. I do not think they can win in a second round series against Dallas. Now Dallas is pretty shaky because they're
They're a little
inconsistent
bit
team.
more than pretty shaky.
They're an
I know you're
inconsistent
being
team.
nice because they're your team, but
Yeah, I know that, but I'm gonna be true. They are a inconsistent team, so that means it go either way. One night they're shooting lights out, and another night it's just bricks all over the backboard here.
yeah. One night Tim Hardaway is breaking your single game franchise 3-point record. Another game he can't find anywhere near the basket.
All right, so I'm looking at how this team is going to perform. I don't think they can compete with the Clippers or the Lakers or let's say Utah, at least, because I know what Donovan Mitchell can do come playoff time. I'm also looking at other teams, especially, let's say, Clippers, Lakers, maybe even Nuggets, because they've been balling without Jamal Murray. I don't think Phoenix can match up with that team, because look at the roster. Besides CP3, D-Book for the Phoenix Suns, I don't think they're there yet, but I think they need another scorer, because Devin Booker can't be that main scorer in CP3. He's a facilitator. He is more a facilitator than a scorer. We all know that's been the same way throughout his entire career. The Phoenix Suns need one more piece. They need one more piece. DeAndre Ayton hasn't lived up to expectations as number one overall pick, but I do think as of now, if I have to sit here and say contenders or pretenders, I'm kind of in the middle, because the Phoenix Suns are not a Western Conference final team. But at the end of the day, they're not a first round exit. They're not a first round bounce. So I'm in between.
CP3 is the point guard. D-Book is the elite young scorer. DeAndre Ayton was the number one overall pick who was taken over nobody in particular. He was who was taken over nobody in particular. Kind of disagree with you here. this is the kind of year where a team like Phoenix could make it to the conference championship. It's one of those kind of years. Now, I'm not guaranteeing the Lakers won't repeat, but I'm saying that I believe it is highly unlikely they do. I'm not saying that the Lakers won't make it to the conference championship. I'm saying that this is the first time in LeBron's career that he's had to deal with a actual lingering injury. Like, he's had other injuries in the past, I understand, but those were back when he was young. He's 36 now. Lingering injuries exist when you're 36. You can remember that because it rhymes. Lingering injuries exist when you're 36. Like a nursery rhyme, guys. I think that this will be something that we'll have to keep an eye on throughout the rest of the season. The health of LeBron. Number 2, I was right about Golden State. Can't go an episode talking about this without mentioning that. I was right about Golden State. Number 3, Portland Trailblazers. I don't think they can bounce. Now, they have the newly minted 10th all-time scorer, Carmelo Anthony. We forgot to congratulate him on our previous episode, but congratulations to Carmelo Anthony of the Portland Trailblazers for cementing his legacy as the 10th all-time scoring leader. You have Dame Lillard, who is a phenomenal player, but I've basically submitted to the fact that Dame Lillard will never be able to win on Portland. I've submitted to that. Excuse me. The roster that they have built behind him is so. You have CJ McCollum. You have Carmelo Anthony, who's not playing 30 minutes now that he's in his 30s, right? It's not the same thing when you have other stars surrounded by top-tier role players and some amazing above average players. Now you discussed Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, not the defensive player of the year. Ben Simmons is still the defensive player of the year in my mind, but still a phenomenal first team all NBA defender. He is. This is an amazing team. This is an amazing. Dame Lillard. Let's make this clear. Dame Lillard, last time he was in the playoffs, set a damn record. Still didn't win. Set a damn record. He is phenomenal. He is phenomenal. Donovan Mitchell, when he enters the playoff mode, is phenomenal. And I don't think that the Phoenix Suns can touch the Jazz when it comes to Donovan in his playoff mode. I don't think they're first round exit, like Darius said. I think it's highly unlikely, but possible. I don't think they're second round exit. Darius said they were second round exit. I don't think they're second round exit. I think this is that kind of year. The Clippers, phenomenal. I think I have the Clippers also going to we're going to have our predictions later, but for right now, I have Phoenix and LA Clippers in the conference championship game for right now. I'm excluding LeBron and the Lakers again. I think that, again, my rhyme, lingering injuries exist when you're 36. I don't know. There's a whole lot of question marks going on. And I think when the season is over and we can do our play-in tournament predictions and we can do our playoff bracket predictions, and we're going to get a whole lot of a better understanding. But right now, this is all speculation, right? This is all what we think might happen, not what will happen. This is all of what me and Darius think and not what will occur. We don't know. We know as much as the next person, but we're using this information to make our educated guess as best as possible. Had to put that disclaimer in before I finish up my argument and before I finish up what we have to say. But I'm going to take this over a little bit. Darius, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I don't believe so. I don't think the Suns are a Western Conference Finals team, and I don't believe that they're a first round bounce or first round exit either. I think they need one more piece. DeAndre Ayton has not lived up to expectations, but they need another main scorer outside of Devin Booker.
DeAndre Ayton, first overall pick. Wasn't taking over anybody in particular. But I can harp on that for decades. I agree that Phoenix needs to have another piece before they are a true championship contender. In my opinion, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander would do wonders for that team. In my opinion, you could switch around a little bit. You can play a couple of people at different spots. You can move Devin down to the small forward position, down to 3. You can put Jay at the 2, and you can have CP3 where he's always been at the 1. I think that would be amazing for them. I think there are some other also amazing pieces that could definitely work on that Phoenix Suns team. I think they're a piece away from me, the championship contender, but I still think this is a type of year where they could be a conference finals contender. I will end it off today. This has been Sports Now with Darius and Aiden. I'm Aiden. That's Darius. And we will see you on the next episode. Peace.